Hello Matt, hello Mauro, hello Anthony, hello Holly, hello Bob. Right, okay, here we go again. Hopefully everybody can hear me. It's not too loud, too quiet, too distorted, too much like that. I've been sort of experimenting with various different ways, and thank you, Anthony. I'm bored with that now, so hopefully you can hear me. Anyway, thank you if you've bought this book so far. I know it's not easy to get to the shops, but it's still available from a lot of places online, and you can get it from cartusmstore.com. I think there are about 50 signed copies left, and then after that you'll get a badge instead of a signature, because I've posted those to Mark and Emma because I can't get down there to sign them for obvious reasons. Anyway, I'm going to read, I said I was going to read chapter 1 and 2 from Harvey King Unboxes His Family, which is the second story in the book. What I'm actually going to read is the prologue and chapter 1. Call me crazy. Okay. Here we go. This is the title. Thompson GP23X Photoboss All-in-One Desktop Printer. Harvey _King 351 cut through the sellotape and opened the box. He took out the power cable, the USB lead, instruction manual, installation CD and the 4-ink cartridges. All the time he was talking to the video camera, explaining each step of his latest unboxing to a potential audience of more than 3 billion, but more likely in the tens or very low 20s. Like a lot of people on TV or in the movies, Harvey hated watching his performances back once they were in the can. He couldn't bear the sound of his voice for a start. It lacked confidence or authority. He mumbled and had a stammer. And Harvey really hated the way he looked. His left eye would sometimes wink uncontrollably, and when he concentrated on unpicking tape or removing a cable tie, he licked his lips. And Harvey was overweight. Should he ever forget that fact, there were plenty of people ready to remind him. It was the adjective that appeared in almost the comments and all the comments underneath his videos. Speak up, fat man. This fat guy stutters bad. I thought the camera was supposed to add 10 pounds, not 100. Fat. Harvey lifted the heavy printer out of the box and removed the 2 blocks of protective white polystyrene packaging. He peeled off the thick strips of plastic tape that held the printer lid in place, and did the same with the tape on the paper input and output trays, and across the threshold of the ink access door. Harvey cut the cable ties from the mains lead and the USB cable. He plugged the printer into a 4-way extension block and connected the USB lead to his computer. He loaded the ink cartridges and inserted the software installation CD and went through the printer's setup steps. This was the least photogenic part of the process, and before putting the video online, Harvey would edit it down to a tight 6 or 7 minutes, with smooth transitions, cue or page curl, or a simple dissolve. Harvey loaded about 20 sheets of paper into the printer, switched it on and pressed print on his computer. The printer whirred and clicked, and Harvey watched the family tree gradually emerge from the printer as though it was growing before his eyes, in reverse, from the top down to the roots. Harvey's second or third Canadian cousin Megan, had posted the family tree online. It had then been sent to him from the genealogy website they were both signed up to. Megan's family tree was tall and wide, with an abundance of leaves and blossom, and delicious-looking fruit growing on every branch. There was even a bird perched at the end of one of the branches. It was an unnecessarily elaborate family tree, far more decorative than any genealogical chart really needed to be. Megan's glorious Canadian redwood made Harvey's own family tree look like a diseased English twig in a drought. There were fewer branches on his undernourished sapling, and no leaves or fruit, no blossom or birds, no decoration at all, in fact. It was just a simple chart, more of a family stump than a tree. Names were misspelled on Harvey's family tree, and half the dates were missing. Information was missing from Megan's family tree too. Harvey wasn't on it, and neither were his mother's sister Kathy, or Kathy's daughter Sally. Harvey's father was on both family trees. On Harvey's version, his father had been dead for 26 years. While on Megan's family tree, up until just 4 months ago, he was still alive. There was something about Megan's attention to detail, the choice of fonts, the colours, the intricate pattern of the bark, the curves and twists of the branches, the knots where the branches join the trunk, and the ribs and the veins on the leaves, even the direction of the wind by the sway of the tree, and the way the feathers of the bird parted ever so slightly. It was all that detail, all the time and effort that must have gone into creating Megan's family tree, that made it hard for Harvey to believe it was her and not him who had made such a simple mistake with the date of his father's death. There you go. Chapter 1. Harvey. The 5 turrets of the castle appeared at the side of the road, poking through the trees like upturned cornettos. There was a blimp moored to the nearest turret, swaying in the breeze 20 feet above it like a Pink Floyd pig, with the words "Huge Sail Now On" stamped across its torso. In the 7 years Harvey had worked at the castle, balloon or no balloon, the sail had always been huge and always very much on. It was autumn, and more of the pink pebble dashing of the turrets, the ramparts, and the battlements were visible than at other times of the year, more even than the day before. It was as though the building was ever so slowly rising up from the ground like a giant spaceship, beginning its journey back to the home planet. Passing motorists who had not been on the road before, or only when there was more tree cover, would be wondering how on earth the unusual structure had got there. The Poundland Pyramids, the boot sale Stonehenge, with its 30 open plan departments selling 280,000 discount products at bargain prices, a miniature steam rail, boating lake, children's fun fair, 18 holes of adventure golf, a maze, and over 20 outdoor food concessions. The shuttle bus slowed, while the drivers of the cars in front gawped up at the blimp and the car crash of a building beneath. Harvey yawned and looked at his phone. There were now 4 comments under his printer unboxing video. Not this fat prick again. What's a printer? They shouldn't let fat people film themselves. Leave 'em alone, you morons, says Jess86. If Harvey hadn't just discovered his father had come back from the dead, only to immediately die again, somebody sticking up for him on the internet might have been the last thing in the world he ever would have expected to happen. He gave Jess86's comment the thumbs up and took Megan's family tree out of the pocket of his parka. It had slipped through a hole in the pocket of the coat and was caught in the lining. Like so many things brought from the castle, Harvey's parka had a built-in obsolescence, and its time was up. The zip was forever getting stuck, and Harvey often had to remove the coat by putting it over his head like a jumper. When he'd bought the parka earlier in the year, Harvey had hoped it might make him look like Bear Grylls or Sir Ranulph Fiennes, and not quite so much like an overweight lead singer from the Undertones. When he'd freed the sheet of paper from the lining of his coat, Harvey unfolded the family tree and held it against the bus window. The early morning sun shone on the glass, and the tree seemed to come alive, like in a Disney cartoon. If the bird perched at the end of the branch that bore the mystery of his father's death had given a little whistle, taken off, and flown around the bus, Harvey wouldn't have been all that surprised. Wouldn't he? He took his hand away from the family tree, and it stayed stuck to the bus window like a party balloon on a jumper. Last night, after he'd found the family tree, or rather after it had found him, arriving on his computer with a ping like a solemn-faced policeman ringing the doorbell, Harvey thought, at long last, the genealogy website had sent him something that wasn't just clickbait. The member of the King family who wanted to share their information appeared to actually be from the same King family as him. Megan was the daughter of the sister of the wife of Harvey's father's brother. Harvey's second or third cousin, or his first cousin twice removed or something. At first Harvey was pleased. He could merge Megan's area of outstanding natural genealogical beauty with his own half-assed blot on the landscape, print the combined results, and present the family tree to his mother, taking all the credit. And then Harvey noticed a discrepancy with the dates beneath his father's name. He thought it must be a mistake at first, and not his mistake. It was Megan who had obviously got the date wrong, either accidentally or deliberately, although Harvey couldn't think of any reason why she would have gone to the trouble of faking a family tree and sending it to him. If it had been malware, clicking on the link would have been enough to infect Harvey's computer. There was no need for all the detail, no need for birds and flowers, no need for a family tree at all. If anything, it was his own scrawny effort that looked like the fake family tree. Harvey rested his head on the shuttle bus window. He was very tired and wished he'd stayed at home. The unexpected death of a parent was surely the perfect excuse for taking a day off work. Stacking shelves seemed disrespectful. It didn't feel like a day for reaching. The bus left the A road and turned onto a narrow, winding B road, and the castle disappeared and appeared again behind the trees, like it was playing peekaboo with a baby. The road widened and straightened out, and the castle was gone. Harvey closed his eyes. He could still see the branches and leaves and all the names and dates on the back of his eyelids, like the ghosts of a watched light bulb, or the falling aliens or Tetris blocks he'd usually see after a long night of online gaming. Ordinarily, he'd sleep it off at the back of the warehouse behind the out-of-season display Father Christmas's snowmen and reindeer. 40 winks in the basement didn't feel like it would be enough today. In spite of his tiredness, Harvey's thoughts were racing. He had the sense of his whole world having been turned upside down, like he'd woken from a coma to discover a virus had wiped out half the population, and the apes or the Venus traps were in charge. He was unable to pinpoint the exact nature of how he was feeling, though. He was reminded of the morning he'd switched on the television and learned that Princess Diana had died. Harvey's father was dead. Again. Why hadn't he cried? He'd been more upset when Disney had bought the rights to Star Wars. Thank you. Should have read that before. I read it then just to see how to pronounce the word genealogical, and indeed genealogy, and of course that last bit where I had the sense of the whole world having been turned upside down, like he'd woken from a coma to discover a virus had wiped out half the population. Crikey, Jim Bob. Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna, for a change, I can't do that. How do I get to these? I'm gonna look for some comments live on this. Chris Tite, hello Chris, Thorpe Tracy. My, what a large microphone, as I once said to a bishop. Will there be any tunes to entertain us all too? Scott, I think I will do, not today, but I will do, yeah. Next time I do this, I'll just do some songs. But I mean, there's a lot of people singing songs on the internet. It must be starting to get irritating. Anyway, let the glorious man. Oh, sorry. Okay. Why does my wife hoover now? Don't know. I'm trying to think of a witty answer. Couldn't think of one. Good job, Bud. Thank you, Martin. Lovely. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Bloody blah. Anyway, thanks for coming. So, I don't know if you've got anything planned for the rest of the weekend. It is a weekend, isn't it? Feels like a weekend. Easter holidays begin now, I think. So homeschooling stops. I know the Ollingtons have finished today. I'm just blabbering now. Bored, to be honest with you. I've had to put on a stupid shirt. Right, anyway, we go off now to watch another box set. See you soon for some songs.